on the News Channel 5 network. This is Open Line.
Well, good evening and welcome into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long, glad to be along with you for the next hour. Doubly excited about this evening because we're going to be joined by one of our very favorite guests, one of your very favorite guests. This is Ask an Expert Night. We're asking the expert in the legal field, and that is Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. Kevin, what
Chuck,
a pleasure to see you as always.
Good to see you always.
Always look forward to getting down here, talking to you, learning from you, and I know the viewers do as well. So, I think it's always amazing, too, when I come in here just thinking about you guys, the Kennedy Law Firm. You've been in business over 35 years.
I know. I cannot even believe it. Wow. And life goes by so fast. And what is really significant about that, you're seeing so many things. And this is what's interesting, too, Chuck. Almost every week we see something brand new.
Yeah.
We were having a law firm meeting the other day, and one of the young lawyers, Mr. Kennedy, how many laws? I said, well, there's about 10 billion laws out there, and there's no way you're going to know all of them until somebody uses it against you. But we do learn the theory, and if you understand the theory a little bit, you can almost anticipate what some of these laws are.
Well, and one of the things that I've learned from you sitting next to you, all these months, now years, is the fact that there's, as you were saying, there's so many laws, there's so many different approaches.
Yes.
If you don't have a law, you're at the disadvantage.
Total disadvantage. One of the ironies of life in America, have the greatest judicial system in the world. But when we go to school, no one teaches you all these rules that we're held accountable for. When you go to court, many people come in there, they're wearing shorts. Well, guess what? Judge will not even hear you in some of these. You can't go in with your sleeves that are cut off, and they won't let you go in with shorts. And then sometimes a guy walks in with his hat because of whatever reason, and the bailiffs are all over you. And you say, well, I didn't know that. And even, women wear hats in church, but it's not allowed in the courtroom.
So you've got to know these things. I was glancing at our last show and just some of the topics that came up. And one of the things that we always learn is when you ask a question, it's not, of course, it's very beneficial, I know, when you ask that question, but it's also beneficial to the people out watching as well, because a lot of people are thinking some of those things, the same things, wondering what to do. Here were some of the topics we covered on the last issue of this that you were here for. Criminal law, personal injury, injured in a car wreck, injured on the job, family law, bankruptcy, estates, wills, nursing home care, lost job. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Come on.
I mean, and you can call tonight, get the expert advice from Kevin this evening. So
we will try.
Yeah.
Chuck, when I remember back when I was at the law school, there's about 200 in our class. They always took more in and fewer graduated. And you said, well, why did that happen? Because law school is a tough territory, and we anticipate the attrition rate will be high. But a lot of times, even lawyers are intimidated. Some of the most brilliant people in society, they are intimidated because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want anyone to say, well, why didn't you know what that? The truth is, many times, even the lawyer likes to hear it again because you're a little unsure. And I ask people's opinion all the time. Many times, I think it's really one of my secrets, which is not a secret, that even as I ask the question and I analyze it, then I've got the answer, and it really firms up, and then it makes you think about things otherwise you wouldn't have thought about. Try to get your options. So we discuss it again, and it'll make a difference in your life.
It really will. So absolutely, as you're watching this evening, you may think of something that you've been wanting to ask.
Yes.
Make a comment. There's the number on your screen to call, 737-7587. Get on the line with us as quickly as possible, as quickly as you think of that question that you have. We are going to go to the lines right now. Gary is the first one on the line with us this evening. Good evening, Gary. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Go right ahead, Gary.
Hello?
Go ahead with your question. We're glad to talk with you tonight.
Okay.
Gary, what's your question?
Yes, it's about child support.
Okay.
All right, me and my ex-wife went up in front of a court, and we was going to dismiss the child support and the contempt.
Okay.
Well, now they're saying that the contempt can be dropped, but the child support has to be paid for at least a year.
Okay.
Before we can consider dropping it. Is that true?
Yes, and let me address that for you. Many times when you're dealing with child support, it's the state of Tennessee that is picked up, and they are pursuing collecting those funds. It's a against public policy for someone to have a child and not support it, because then it comes back on the state. And if everyone could say, well, hey, I'll sign my rights away on that child. Well, the state won't let you do that, because they're expecting someone to pay for the food, and everyone knows it costs money to raise a child. So in your situation, it's probably a district attorney telling you, and here's where you get caught. People split up, and perhaps the woman has no income. We see it every day, all day. And if you don't understand this, go to the child support courtroom, standing room only. And so she says, well, I've got to have some money. So I need food stamps or the WIC program. My child needs this. And so when they register for these welfare programs, the next thing they say, who is the daddy? What is his address? They give you the food stamps and provide for the children, but then you're running up a bill. And so all over America, you could be in California, your wife could be in Arkansas, ex-wife, girlfriend, whatever the case may be, and she goes to the district attorney and asks for funds, and then they'll get that, go against you. And when you talk to the DA, you say, can we cut a deal? She doesn't want to put him in jail. He said, this is one of those government cases that they have to pay this money back. That's the real world.
Well, and that's just another reason that so often people say, do I or don't I need an attorney? Well,
yes.
As you can see, the law is complicated. So that's why you need the attorneys. And, you know, they often say, too, that it costs you more without an attorney than with the attorney.
No doubt.
Yeah?
And here's what I'd like to say. I had one very similar to this today. And this person said, well, is that first day, is that just an arraignment? Is that a docket call? And in my experience, anything can bring you. Maybe it is an arraignment. What do you do when the lawyers start bringing up other issues? Judge, I want to tell you about Chuck. He's this. Well, you weren't even there because you thought it was going to be placed off on another date. So I've tried to make all my court dates. I like to be involved. I always like my clients to know when we're going, go with me, because we can discuss problems, potential problems, on the way in and on the way out. And you know, lawyers, I'm kind of brainwashed to this effect too. We're looking for an exit strategy. If you know there's a fight right there, some days it's better not to have Chuck exposed to that. So let's try to get away. We'll regroup, do some more research, bring your witnesses, and then let's go hit them.
So then you're ready. All right, let's go back to the phone lines right now. Gary, we appreciate that call. Carol is on the line with us. Carol, thanks for calling in this evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin? Can you hear us, Carol?
Carol, yes, this is me. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go right ahead, Carol.
Yes, my son was seen at General, and he's being billed by the physician from another county in Knoxville.
Yes.
And his insurance had paid for his visit at General, but the physician now is suing him for the $477. I'm just trying to see how is that when his insurance paid for it.
Okay, it's a great question. If you have to go to the emergency room, you know what, Chuck? You're going to get a bill from the hospital. You'll get one from the anesthesiologist. You'll get one from the attending physician. You're going to get bills, and all of a sudden, hey, I never was in New Mexico. Their billing places come from all over the United States. So how do we even know? And one of the biggest tricks, I'm going to teach everybody this is pretty good. So when you go in an emergency situation, have somebody with you. Ask them, we've got Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. Is this in the network cover? So much of the time, you go right in, they treat you, there's a bill for $10,000, then they inform you you're out of network. Well, golly, that's a ripoff. That's against due process. How did we even know that? And so you have a right to appeal that when the bill comes and they've denied that. You can appeal it through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and some days it's effective, some days it's not. You've heard me say many times, you have to advance your rights. The squeaky door gets the oil. And there's a lot of people that don't have this information. They get a bill, the only thing they know, especially the elderly, they write checks. Well, I've got a bill, I've got to pay this, and they're not sure if the insurance company paid or not, and a lot of people are not as sophisticated to know.
Well, and so you've often said, too, be proactive. So
Absolutely.
When something like that happens, you want to immediately start asking those questions,
Yes.
taking that information down, because a month later when the bill comes,
Yes.
more than likely going to forget if you're not writing bring it down?
Well, if it's your mother, your father, and you rush them out there, go in and you ask these questions when you go into the emergency room. You know, here's their insurance card, because it is far too complex. If it can be interpreted against you, you heard it, it will be. That's Kevin C. Kennedy. I'll tell you again, if they can interpret it against you, they will.
And again, another reason you need the lawyer. The legal system is going to help you fight the big guys a lot of times.
It's true.
Absolutely.
And so many times, if you just put up a little resistance, they say, leave that one alone, move to the next account.
Okay, good to know. All right, Carol, we appreciate great question and big help to a lot of folks watching. All right, we're going back to the lines right now, and Tom is on the line with us. Tom, good evening, and do you have a question or a comment?
Yes. Do I have a question? Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Kennedy, my wife and I are seniors. We would like to live in our home until we just can't.
Yes.
We don't plan on going to a nursing home. What is the best way to preserve our estate?
Okay, I'm going to talk to you in a hypothetical. And so basically, some areas you have to be sensitive to. I hope there's a lot of people paying attention to this, because this affects everyone's family sometime or another. We have what's known as a rollback in period. So unexpectedly, you or your wife have a stroke, and you're sent, and all of a sudden you're in the nursing home. And so one person passes away, the house is theirs, and then they end up in the nursing home. Well, the family says, hey, we don't want all of the home to go to the nursing home, so we want to quit claim that. There's a 5-year rollback in. So as your parents become aged, then you should probably meet with a lawyer and talk with them about the possibilities of deeding that home out of their name. You also have some ideas that you could have children. You could take a life estate with so the remainder of your life, you and your wife could stay there, and upon your death, the remainder goes to your children or to your church or to any civic organization that you wanted to. And by doing so, you prevent Medicaid or Medicare or whoever has a government lien from taking your property. Those who, again, you said it best, take a proactive approach, because well, I didn't realize that, I didn't know it. So they used to have a 3-year, there used to be a 1-year rollback, 3-year rollback. It's 5 years. So let's try to get some good advice, and you might move some of that real estate out of your name now.
All right, so we are glad that you called in, Tom. And again, plan ahead. That's what you want to do.
Good.
All right, we're going to take a break. We've got a lot of you on the phone lines with us. When we come back, more calls here on Open Line.